My dad was an amazing supporter of people. He was always there for people. He um, just, whenever somebody had something, he was always there. People could count on him, and he was always there for people. When my dad was received by Jesus, he was only 64, so he wasn't really old. But later on in life, I realized that he stopped supporting people. He um, became rather bitter, and he wouldn't go places. People would invite him through me, and he would say things like, if they didn't call me, I'm not going. They in my city, they need to call me. And he would say things like that, and it would drive me crazy because I'm like, dude, they're telling you to come. You always say, I'm Yardley, the second coming. They're inviting your second coming. Roll with your boy and let's go to this church service. Let's go to this. Let's go to that. And he got rather bitter. And I was like, what's going on, bro? It just hit me today that what happened to him is he was such a supporter of people, and people always came around when we had 3 services and average about 700 to 1,000 people every Sunday between 3 services. Our church sat 500 people, and we had conferences, and people are always there. But at his time of need, when things began to go the other way, all those people who were around when he became a bishop, and all the Paul Mortons and Marvin Sapps and all those guys were coming to our church, they stopped calling. And it wasn't the Marvin Sapps and the Paul Mortons that he was concerned with. It was the people who he put in front of them, the people who he introduced to them, the people that he put on, who at some point they didn't need Bishop anymore, and the support wasn't there like he gave it. And as his days began to wane, and he and I talked, and he was like, I'm gonna start just doing me, and what's important to me is me, and what's good for me is me, and I've got to really pray about me, and I just want Jesus, and I want his church, and I want my children, and I want the Lord's church. That's all I want. And it hit me. Something changed in me just recently. I realized one of the ways that I could fight that or stay away from even entering into that space is to really consider me. And I realized that there are people out there who I used to support all the time. I would go places all the time, and I stopped going because I realized support always doesn't breed support. And though I did it just because I wanted to, I realized that everybody I was going for, they really weren't for me. And so I'm going to take a note from my dad. And so before I become bitter and before I get my feelings hurt, I'm just going to lay back and start staying home. So I learned something from my dad. My dad taught me what's most important, you got to take care of you. What's most important, you got to support you. Now, I'm not saying that supporting people is wrong and always look for people to support you back, but you really got to do what's best for you, because at the end of the day, my dad had guys who were around him, but at the end of the day, my dad had a church, but at the end of the day, what he had left was Vanessa, Veronica, Ariam, Sharice, Yardley, Isaac, and Christopher. So, sow into what's really for you.